And good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of Lenoir for Tuesday, May the 17th, 2022. We welcome you here this evening. Glad that you are with us either here in the room with us or on TV tonight. We appreciate everyone being involved. Before we go to our moment of silence and our Pledge of Allegiance, I will go ahead and do our roll call of everyone who was with us this evening. So we'll get started with that, and I'm going to start with...
This meeting is being recorded.
We figured that, thank you. We'll start with Mr. Beal to my left and come around, please.
Jonathan Beal here.
Ike Perkins.
David Stevens.
Joe Gibbons.
Ralph Prestwood.
Kent Greer.
TJ Roy, City Attorney.
Thank you, sir.
Shirley Cannon.
Shirley Cannon, our city clerk, thank you. Joshua.
Joshua Harris, Communications Director.
Thank you, sir. And with us in the back, we have Radford Thomas, our Public Utilities Director, Ed Evans, our Interim Public Works Director, Brent Phelps, our Chief of Police, and the star of the evening, Donna Bean, our Finance Director, which we'll be talking about soon. And we also welcome Charles Archer from Freeze and Nichols with us this evening. Thank you, Charles, for being here. We'll be talking with you just a little bit as well. Katie Davis is here from the News Topic. Katie, glad to have you with us this evening. All right, if you will, please join us now for a moment of silence and remain standing for our
I'm here too.
And Scott Hildebrand, our city manager, by the way. Sorry. Better make sure we got him here. Thank you. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And in my haste, I forgot to mention that we do have some on that are on with us on Zoom. Let me go back and quickly get that. I'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Chrissy Thomas.
I'm present.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to miss you guys. And Councilmember Todd Perdue.
I'm in Washington, D.C., but I'm on Zoom.
Well, thank you. We're glad that you're with us. Be careful up there. And as we got Mr. Hildebrand and Joshua. All right. Our Fire Chief, Ken Hare.
I'm here.
Thank you. Economic Development Main Street Director, Kaylin Horn. Kaylin is at a conference out of town, so we will do that. And I think Matthew is with her as well. They're both at a Main Street conference. Kenny Story, our Parks and Recreation Director.
I'm here, Mayor.
Thank you, Kenny. Jenny Wheelock, our Planning Director, just came in the room, so she is here. Okay, is anybody on Zoom that I did not get? Thank you very much. All right, we will start out tonight with a very special presentation. As tonight we would like to congratulate our City of Lenoir Finance Director, Donna Bean. Donna was recently certified as a local government finance officer by the North Carolina Government Finance Officers Association. She achieved the certification after completing more than 150 hours of instruction. Man, I'm tired thinking about it. From the UNC School of Government and passing exams related to the course of study. The 5 core courses are Introduction to Local Government Finance, Governmental Accounting and Financial Reporting, Budgeting in Local Government, Capital Financing in Local Government, Cash Management, Investment of Public Funds, and Effective Supervision. All right, how to pronounce it?
Supervision.
Supervision Management. Thank you. That's a hard word to get. So Donna, thank you very much. She also, her department includes over 13 employees, and she takes care of our $30 million annual budget. Donna, thank you and congratulations for achieving this certification. Do you want to come up and we can do a picture with Donna? Would that be? appropriate? I think it would. Is that all right with you?
Joshua needs something.
Okay. Joshua's got the camera set up, so we need to take advantage of it. All right, council, let's join Donna and have a great picture. Well, we can do that. We're good.
Boy, I miss going down.
Congratulations.
No,
Yeah, you can come with us.
no. I appreciate the invite.
You're at the heart. Come on. Stevens? Hildebrand?
Everybody take a step to your right.
To the right.
That looks good. All right.
Is that like a dance room?
All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would you like to say something? You're welcome to if you want to. Out of your way here. Makes us hungry.
After me. Then why is he saying that?
I would just like to say I appreciate the recognition and appreciate all the support that you give me and all my department gives me, and most importantly, how much the department heads and Mr. Hildebrand give me, because without that support, I wouldn't have had time or been able to take care of all that. So I do appreciate all that support, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to go to the School of Government, which presents, amazing training, and it's been very beneficial. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. We appreciate what you do and how well you take care of all the money in our city. We appreciate it so much. Okay, I'd like to mention a couple other congratulations. First, I want to say congratulations to Joshua Harris and Matthew Anthony for the Lenore Bike Festival. The first annual Bike Festival was this past weekend. Thank you guys for coming up with it, organizing it, and putting it together. It was a great event. The rain held off till a little bit later, so most of it got in, and that was great, and we appreciate you guys working on it. Thanks to all our city staff for taking care of, the police and fire and public works and utilities and everybody, the recreation. We were all there, Main Street staff. Were there, and I know there were volunteers that came in to help, so we appreciate all of that. And we think that everyone involved had a good time, it seemed to be. So hopefully we'll see number 2 down the road with that. But thank you very much for that.
And I think we pulled it off with very few crashes.
Yeah, I didn't hear about anybody getting hurt. That's a good thing about that. And let's say congratulations to Councilmember Kent Greer, who was promoted to the, as we were kidding with him, not the CEO, the COO of his corporation. And congratulations, Kent. Thank you. We appreciate that and know that you do a great job with your company. And thank you for being a part of us on the city council. Thank you. On that. Also, quickly, I will mention a couple of good things going on. We're also very proud of our Caldwell Community College baseball and softball programs. The baseball team, only in their second year of existence in baseball program, won the Region 10 championship. They also just this past weekend won the Mid-Atlantic District of Division III championship. So they are going to the National Junior College Athletic Association World Series, and we're excited for them. That will be May 28th through June 2nd, I think, over in Greenville, Tennessee, if I got that right. So they went 46-7 to this point. They've won 42 out of their last 43 games. And you think about baseball, that's not easy to do. You don't always have great days, but they have played really great baseball, and we're very proud of them. And of course, the women's softball team for the college finished the season second in the Region 10, came close in the tournament, lost out late in the Region 10 tournament, but they went 33-11 in only their second year of existence in playing women's softball here. They play at Mulberry, at the Optimus Park, of course, on the field there, and of course the baseball team plays at Walker Stadium. So they are part of Lenore, and we're really proud of those two teams and what they're doing. We wish the baseball team great luck when they go further on. So, All right, and that's the announcements I think we have, so we'll move on then. We do not have matters scheduled for public hearing this evening, so we'll move to the consent agenda items, which consist of minutes of the City Council meeting of Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. The item B is the capital project budget ordinance for downtown and greenway improvements. This is a recommendation to adopt a capital project budget ordinance in the amount of $1,500,000 to authorize activities for the State Capital Infrastructure Fund, that's the SCIF, grant project to enhance the City of Lenore's downtown and expand the Greenway network. And item C is a professional services contract. This is with Freeze and Nichols Incorporated, with recommendations entering into a professional services contract with Freeze Nichols for the completion of a facilities condition assessment as proposed for a service fee in the amount of $140,000. That's your three items on the consent agenda. We're open for any question or discussion on any of those, and when you're ready, a motion moving forward. Mr. Hildebrand, anything you need to add to any of those?
Just unless there's questions.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items A, B, and C as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Stevens to accept the A, B, and C of the consent agenda items as presented. No other discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on
Aye.
Zoom? On Zoom?
Aye.
Thank you. And that is unanimous. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on then to requests and petitions of any citizens. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, this is the time to do so. I think most everyone with us tonight are staff and Katie from the News Topic. So we're glad to have you. So seeing no one, we will, anyone on Zoom? Okay, thank you. We'll move on then. We do not have reports from our boards and commissions this evening, so we'll move to the report and recommendations of the city manager, Mr. Hildebrand.
Mayor, council tonight, several items for information. The city council will conduct a budget work session on Thursday, May 19th, 6 p.m., third floor City Hall. If necessary, additional budget work sessions will be held. They're scheduled for Tuesday, May 24th, 8:30 a.m., third floor City Hall, during your regular scheduled committee of the whole meeting. And then if needed, Thursday, May 26th, 6 p.m. All these, again, are at City Hall, third floor. The planning board scheduled to meet on Monday, May 23rd, 5:30 in these chambers. The Foothills Regional Airport Authority, a meeting has been canceled for the month of May. City offices will be closed Monday, May 30th in observance of Memorial Day. During that same day, American Legion Post 29 will host a Memorial Day service. That'll be beginning at 10 a.m. on the square in downtown, and the public's invited to attend. Lastly, there's a cruising event scheduled for Saturday, June 4th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. in downtown. And that's items I have for information. Are there any questions regarding those?
Any questions anyone has? Thank you.
Tonight, we have three items. The first item is the water system purchase agreement with Joyston Water Works. This is something the council's discussed for probably 15 years prior to my arrival about acquiring that system. Recently, Mr. Hogan, James Hogan, who owned that system, passed away, and his heirs, his two sons, want to go back now and sell that to the city of Lenore. It's 97 customers with that system. All those customers are citizens of Lenore. This system was put in place in 1969. Over 80% of those customers are our sewer customers as well. Back in, I want to say, 2014, the city had an evaluation of that system. We hired Martin McGill to perform a financial evaluation of the system. At that time, the value of that system for the portion we're looking to acquire was $84,808. The current estimated value is approximately $90,000. Depreciation, of course, and then consumer price index going up. That's where it is today, the valuation. Again, Mr. Hogan approached us back in 2019 about selling the system, but due to COVID and other health issues, that did not occur. But as you recall, back about 18 months ago, we entered into agreement for maintenance of that system, so the transition was in place at that time. So we've agreed upon a sales price of $80,000. City Attorney Roars worked on that for several months now. And so pending approval of council, subject to acquiring the easements we need, and also approval of the State Utilities Commission, we recommend approval of that. And Mr. Thomas is here, could speak toward that as well. And then Mr. Rohr, again, worked on that for several months. So if you have questions, I'll try to answer those, or those two can answer those.
Okay. Any questions concerning the purchase agreement for the Joyceton Water Works? Okay. Hearing none. Mr. Rohr, anything you need to add to any of that? Okay.
No,
Thank you.
if you don't have any questions, I don't have any answers.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just want to make sure.
Mr. Mayor, one question.
Yes, sir, go
Did you say
ahead.
how many customers there were?
I believe it's roughly 97.
Okay.
Scott, it's about 126 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 97 addresses in the packet, but I think there's, as he said, 120 plus.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, you've heard the recommendation as presented by Mr. Hildebrand as from the staff of Joyceton Water Works. The recommendation is to approval of the proposed water system purchase agreement with Joyceton Water Works Incorporated, subject to conveyance of all necessary easements for access to the assets being transferred to the city of Lenoir by Joyceton Water Works Incorporated, and is subject to review and approval of the sale of the North Carolina Utilities Commission. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the agreement to purchase the Joyceton Water System as stated.
Okay. Mr. Presswood makes a motion that we approve the purchase agreement for the Joyceton Water Works as presented. No other questions. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on Zoom?
Aye.
Thank you both. And that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Mr. Hildebrand?
The next item you have for consideration this evening is an order of abatement for 1301 Jolly Place. As you recall back, I think in December, we went back and did a nuisance ordinance for 1319 Jolly Place. These two properties have been issues for a number of years. I know the planning staff's been working on those, and Jenny Wheelock is here if you have specific questions. But this would go back and abate 1301. And you have photos in your packet to see some of the issues we've had. We clean up part of it, and it's kind of a moving target. They move from there to the next property over. But again, if you have any questions, Mr. Will, I can answer those for you.
Okay. You've heard the order of abatement. Is there any discussion, questions? Mrs. Wheelock is here if you need to know anything about 1301 Jolly Place.
It's kind of been whack-a-mole. Hit it and they move.
Proximity, where is it according to the one that we abated during
It's
December?
adjacent property.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Then we'll entertain. Now, I will read the North Carolina PIN numbers 2840989-837. This is in accordance with Section 10-33B of the Chapter 10 of the Lenoir Code of Ordinances. So I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this order of abatement.
Okay. I have a motion from Councilmember Perkins that we accept the order of abatement for 1301 Jolly Place as presented by staff. If no other question, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on Zoom?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and that carries unanimously. Mr. Hildebrand, thank you, Jenny.
Come over here to this part.
Now for the fun part.
Good evening again. The budget was emailed to you just probably about 25 minutes ago, electronic version. We don't do hard copies anymore unless you want a hard copy, but you have a copy of the slideshow presentation I'll go through here shortly with you. Pursuant to General Statute 15911, I'm here tonight to go back and submit the recommended 2022-23 budget for your review and consideration. And I'll start going through my slides if I can figure out how to do it. As we talk about every year, this budget was based on the priorities you set up at your February retreat and also your March budget meetings, and also with your time with department heads throughout the year and your priorities. And we established priorities at that retreat. Your number one priority was to go back and continue the efforts to offer competitive compensation and benefits to employees. Your next priority was increased funding support for minimum housing and code enforcement. Your third priority, which was a tie between several, was develop strategies to support affordable workforce and market rate housing, continue to fund support street paving plan, develop master plans for the campus, downtown, as well as park and recreation, establish a human relations commission, including diversity, equity, and inclusion. Number 7 was implement wayfinding plan, including greenway signage, establish area plans for Whitnall and West End, and continue to fund and support technology, cybersecurity, and digital services. So that's kind of where we started with the budget. Lastly, once we do all these things, continue to share our State of the City presentations and reestablish community meetings once folks feel safe to go out in the community. And we did State of the City actually last week at the Caldwell Rotary Club. Mr. Presswood was not there. I think he was playing golf.
I wasn't watching it.
So, okay. Just want to make sure that's out there.
Make a note of that.
Lastly, was continue and fund and support water and sewer capital improvement plan. And continue to fund and support sidewalks, greenway, and the Over Mountain Victory Trail. So that's where your budget starts, and that's kind of the priorities we set. The general fund totals $20,320,130. The budget's balanced, and again, addresses those priorities listed on the previous slides. Property tax remains at 57 cents per 100. The rescue readiness tax remains at 0.85 cents per 100. So your total tax rate is 57.85 per 100, which is your current rate. The budget does include a $1 increase in the monthly fee for solid waste. That brings it to $11 per month. But all other general fund fees are unchanged. The recommended budget contains no borrowing, and also it does not use any fund balance. Here's a pie chart of the budget. You can see that most of our money, which we talk about in the budget message, nearly 83% of the general fund revenues come from property tax, which is 45%, sales tax 26%, franchise tax is 12%. The remaining 17% comes from state shared revenue, investment earnings, sales, and services. But lately, very little investment earnings. And the expenses, the main expenses in the budget, or the big ones you would assume, police, fire, public works, recreation are the 4 big areas of expenditures. As you recall, we've talked about this a lot in the last year or so, the American Rescue Plan. That's $3.834691 million the city received for that. This budget does not allocate any of those funds in the budget. To date, we've only spent funds for premium pay, which you authorized back about 4 or 5 months ago. We'll present those recommendations to you at a separate date under separate amendments, but they will be based on long-term capital projects and master planning, as we talked about. This needs to be something in the future, big items, not operational expenses. In addition, this budget of 1.5 we approved tonight is not included in the general operating budget as well. Funds for this are going to be spent, as you adopted tonight, in the special project ordinance, and that goes toward the greenways and downtown, and that was part of the state budget. They adopted those particularly for the greenway and for downtown. Our downtown service district totals $288,220. The proposed downtown budget is balanced, and the rate remains 20 cents per 100, which is this current rate today, so no change in that. The water and sewer fund totals $10,232,980. This includes a 5% water and sewer rate increase, which you approved back in March. The city's traditionally used the South CPI for that, which in February was 8.4%. This past month, CPI was 9.1% for the South region. But our rate is only a 5% increase out of that total. An average monthly water and sewer customer utilizing 5,000 gallons per month would see a $2.49 increase. Water and sewer tap fees have been adjusted to a rate of cost plus $250. Again, our cost plus $250 for the labor to install those. The rates we had in the past are just not keeping up with inflation for that. You see the main revenues there are, of course, water and sewer rates. Expenditures, as you see there, the water plant, wastewater plant, and the like. Highlights of the budget. The core services are continued with revenue projections estimating in a realistic, conservative manner. They also go back and take into consideration the uncertainties in the economy we have today. Employee compensation, that's your number one priority I mentioned earlier. The city and also the private sector are having a tough time recruiting and retaining employees. So hopefully this budget will go back and help address those. As we say every year, our employees are our most valuable asset we have in the city. So employee compensation. The budget includes raising the minimum annual pay for all full-time employees to a minimum of $30,000 per year. Also raises annual pay for police officers, starting officers to $42,000 a year. Provides cost of living adjustments of either 5% or 8%, depending on how that pay for the position compares to the state averages based on the League of Municipalities survey. The new pay plan also goes into effect July 1st. Instead of waiting to January 1st, it'll go into effect July 1st. The budget also funds the mandated increases in the retirement system of 0.75% for general employees and 0.94% for law enforcement personnel. Next category we look at is insurance. The city's group health plan premiums will go up 3% while maintaining our current benefit levels. The property liability insurance will go up 10%. Our workers' compensation is going to decrease 7%. Street resurfacing. The budget allocates $400,000 to continuing pavement study, plus $100,000 in special paving. The $400,000 is a $10,000 increase from last year. Last year, the general was $390. We're up to $400 with that. Downtown, the budget approves funds for the holiday decorations. I know a couple of you had made that a key priority, so that's included. Also, we're going to use CDBG funds to go back, continue improvements on the campus in downtown. Code enforcement. In response to your priority, we're going to go back and increase code enforcement 66% up to $100,000, but that excludes personnel costs for law enforcement and also the planning staff position we have. That will be used for demolitions, foreclosures, and nuisance enforcement. Clean energy. This year, we're going to go back and take a new approach. We're trying to buy 3 hybrid law enforcement patrol vehicles in the coming year. The goal of that is to go back, reduce gas emissions, lower maintenance costs, and also improve fuel efficiency. Also, as you approve tonight, we'll allocate funds to go back and do facility and condition assessments on 32 buildings to go back and see where we stand today and what we need to do to improve those buildings to be more efficient. Technology, the budget funds computer and information technology upgrades throughout the city. And also, we complete the advanced metering infrastructure project, the automated read meters. So that will be concluded hopefully in the next several months. Environmental, continue to outsource our management oversight of the federal Phase 2 stormwater program to the Western Piedmont Council of Governments. Debt service, the budget funds all debt service obligations. The general fund, we're down just the fire department. So we made a lot of progress there. Our capital fund, general fund, we allocate $1,017,000. Includes a lot of different things. I can read some of these. I'll go quickly with that. A light duty truck, fuel system upgrade, service truck for building maintenance, single axle dump truck, cemetery master plan, zero-turn mower, repairs to the creek bank at Fire Station Number 2, repairs to the back apron at Fire Station Number 1, upgrades to all 3 fire stations, IT upgrades that is, police department parking lot repaving, 2 detective cars, those are used, 4 patrol cars, I mentioned 3 of those 4 will be hybrid, if we can get them. Aquatic center HVAC replacement, Mobile Rec Center, we have a roof replacement, playground improvements, and also pickleball courts, as some of you play that, I understand. The water and sewer fund capital is $1.237 million. Some improvements there, a mini excavator, utility line locator, a boring machine, major pressure reducing valve faults, divisional valve replacement, manhole improvements, 3-phase power upgrade, lift station upgrades, a lawnmower. It's not the typical push mower, by the way. Recycle pump installation, dump truck, a floor cleaning machine, building and ground improvements, an ATV, American Water Infrastructure Act compliance project, 2 vehicle replacements. That being at this time, thank Donna Bean. We announced her certification earlier tonight, but thank her. She puts a lot of hours into this, much more than I do. Brings it all together, and I appreciate all her work on this. I thank the department directors for their give and take and understanding we're all on the same team. Again, Team Lenore. City Council for your guidance throughout the year to get the budget put together. And again, our primary goal each and every day, I say this every year, is to provide service beyond measure to our citizens. And finally, come create with us in Lenore. Lastly, we have a work session scheduled for Thursday, May 19th at 6 o'clock. And the only action I asked tonight is you scheduled a public hearing formally. You did that in your budget calendar adoption earlier in the month. But if you'll go back and formally set the public hearing date for Tuesday, June 7th at 6 p.m. Otherwise, it will be online first thing in the morning at that web address. You should have a link to that this evening. You can start looking at it, and you have the slideshow, and Josh will post all that tomorrow. With that, any questions so far?
Not a question, but a comment.
Go ahead.
Mr. Manager, I'd like to say thank you for considering the American Rescue Funds that we received, the $3.8 million, and not including that in our operating budget for this year, and giving time to think about that as far as it would apply to long-term assets of the city. And that's for the benefit of our taxpayers, and thank you for that consideration.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from Mr. Hildebrand or comments? I will say this, thank you very much for all this work that our staff,
Well, that's the
Donna,
folks in
and
the back of
all
the
the
room did all
staff
the
have
work.
put into this. We started this back, with our first meeting in February, I guess, when we first got you. You started before that, but when we formally got together, put together a lot of things. This is a great budget.
Well, there should be no surprises. Everything you see in here, we've talked about
Exactly.
throughout the past year, so.
And we appreciate that always. It's not fun to be surprised, so we're glad that we're not. So we appreciate that,
And thank you for those grueling days we spent deciding on what our priorities were and putting those into dollars and cents.
we'll do it. Yes, a lot of good work going into this. We appreciate it. Look forward now to our next one on the 19th, where we maybe sit down and just talk about if there's anything we need to fine tune. Hopefully, we hope that will be the only time we have to meet about it, and then we move forward. But tonight, we do need a motion to call for a public hearing on Tuesday, June the 7th, to consider approval of the recommended budget. So I'll open the floor for that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that
Motion?
motion.
Okay.
Wouldn't come
We have a motion
to
from
call for
Councilman.
the public meeting.
We have a motion from Councilmember Stevens to call for the public hearing to be held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022, to consider this recommended budget as presented. Any other question or discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on Zoom?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and that carries unanimously. Thank you. And we will look forward to meeting later this week and moving forward with our budget. Anything else, Mr. Hildebrand, come from? Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, we'll move to our report and recommendations. Our city attorney, Mr. Rohr, you have anything? I know you have some things in closed session.
Closed session.
Yes, sir.
Nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you. I do have some recommendations that we talked about for board reappointments. We have been working to get our boards kind of all straightened out and get them on a timely manner. So tonight, we presented these at our May 3rd meeting. So tonight, I would like to present these board reappointments to you for our authorities, boards, and commissions as presented. For the ABC Board, Mr. Jerry Brooks for a 3-year term. For our Lenore Tourism Development Authority for 4-year terms, Dr. Dana Clark and Glenda Wilson. These are all serving now. Lenore Business Advisory Board for 3-year terms, Margaret Forney, Darren McKinney, Gonzalo Vasquez, John Moore, and Sean Williams. For our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, 2-year terms to Shauna Banner and Darrell Lippard. For our Lenore Housing Authority, this is a 5-year term, and this is now mandated by government that the housing authorities are 5-year terms on that. And that would be Debbie Smith, who is of course currently serving. And for the Planning Board, a 3-year term for Tim Scobie. So present these to you for your consideration to catch up on all our boards.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve your proposed appointments to all of these boards.
Okay? You're doing them all together? Is that
Yeah.
fine?
If that's fine.
Okay. All right. Any other question or comment? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on Zoom?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That stands unanimous. Thank you. We will notify all of these, and Ms. Wheelock, you can continue great work on getting our boards and commissions and all in a great shape. Thank you very much for that. All right, anything from any of our council members tonight that you would like to bring up? Yes, sir.
I would, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for this opportunity. I've got a concern for some things that are on Sharon Avenue in regards to the trees that are growing there. These trees present a major danger to 3 homes there, one including mine. They have grown so big now where they're on one side of the street and the limbs are reaching the other side of the street. And our concern is heavy wind or anything could happen that would blow one of those leaves could damage our homes. School buses travel up and down Sharon Avenue. God forbid if a limb would break out or break and fall on a school bus. There are a lot of people that challenge that hill in walking. And there's a lot of traffic, not a lot, but quite a lot of traffic that goes up through there. And this is affecting 3 homes there. I don't know what the city can do. I just wanted to present this as a member of the council and also as a resident, and also one of the 3 houses that this would dangerously affect if something would happen. And I would like to know, or I would like to present this as a challenge or as an opportunity for us to look at it and just see what can be done. There are roots that are protruding through the ground now and breaking the curbing. That's how big these trees are. And they're only like 2 feet from the curbing. So I don't know what the right-of-way would be or if the right-of-way would come into effect. But nevertheless, I think that it deserves some looking into.
That would be
And
what we need to decide, if are they on the right-of-way?
And I'll defer
or
to
are
the
they
city
private-
attorney, too.
private
Our folks have
property?
looked at it, and based on the recollection of Jared Wright, that all that was outside of the right-of-way. And so I defer to the city attorney on what legal advice he could give. So you have to look into it and come
Yeah,
back.
I mean, this is the first I've heard of anything, so I'll decline to offer an opinion at this time, but I'll look into it.
thank
Okay.
you.
We'll ask Mr. Evans, I guess, and his staff to take a look and just see what's there and who it belongs to. That's the best way to approach it, and then see how we can react to that to help in any possible way we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Perkins. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. We do have a closed session tonight. This is pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11, subsection A, 3, and 6. We will enter into this closed session to discuss attorney-client privilege and personnel. I don't think we're expecting anything to come out of that on that. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Motion.
Make a
Councilman-
motion to go into closed session.
Okay, we have a motion from, we'll let our Mayor Pro Tem on that, do that. Motion to go into closed session. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And Zoom?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank y'all. We are now in closed session.
And we'll start back up.